Okay, so it's April 15th after these floods and whatnot. This is the road coming in from the National Forest from Bean Hill. This is coming into 1999, and this is the branch for 1985. Where this gate is, used to be where my barrier was while I was removing this material to put way back up in there and fill that road in. I've since put gravel on here, and I put gravel when I first built all this. This area that's cleared out that the neighbors cut through off the easement was where I used to have my landing for where I'd have materials dropped, but was never connected to this road. The neighbors, in trying to irrigate or whatever, instead of all this water coming down, which is supposed to go into a drainage grate that I want to install across my gate here to drain into this pond back this way, instead the neighbors have dug trenches along this line here, forcing all the water down this way. They dug this trench approximately a year ago, trying to make this a viable roadway. It seems to be some kind of oil slick or something was dumped here. Tree killer probably. So down here you can see this trench that they dug up in here, which just really exasperated the whole thing. But anyway, the green band on that tree, green band over here, this was marking what the easement was supposed to be. It was never supposed to be over here. I put, well, a foot worth of gravel that was on the 300 foot of the easement here, just down into this low spot to build it up. We cut several trees getting up in here and trying to get the water to drain uphill somehow. The water needs to go that way over the hill. That's down. We're going back up here. It needs to go there, but it would have been a lot better to have the water cross this way so that this place was never a drain. It was the way I built this up here. And see, I'm walking on this. This is not muddy. There's no footprints even in the sand. Even walking in over here, it's hard to get any give at all. That's because this is sub road that's on here. They just drove off of it so many times and they never fill their ruts in that they've mixed the underlying sand in with the gravel. It's almost like they're trying to make it not work. Here's the gravel I purchased. Broken concrete brick right up in here. Plenty of material coming right up to the property stake here. There's the property corner. More than 12 feet across for them to get in. Granted, they'd have a little bit easier of a way out if the National Forest would let us take the single remaining bearing tree out. The other two have since fallen into the woods somewhere. That's no longer necessary now that I have a property stake, but they said they'd get back to me, and that was 6 months ago. Anyway, this is the easement through here. I was keeping this raked out for them because they don't have a back blade or whatever equipment they need. They got a loader, they should be able to do it, but I was doing it for them. But if they're gonna come running up and scream about it being their easement and they feel threatened, then I guess they're gonna just have to do it themselves. You see they've got it trenched to drain in the forest here. I put 10 yards of material in this hole to make it as solid as it is, and you see how solid it is. There's no give to it. This is the spot where they got stuck last year. Right after I put that 10 yards of material, they immediately went to drive right through it in the rain. And unfortunately, it was delivered pretty muddy, so they really should have let it set up for a day or two. But anyway, and a lot of this was exacerbated because they did not remove any of the stumps when they started using it. They just ground them down a little bit below the surface, like right here. I can't grade this for them because it catches my blade. So the only thing you can do is bury this stuff, and there's just not enough material to do it. I've put, between what I removed from this road and what we've purchased, I would say it would be a conservative estimate to say about 100 yards of material. This was completely dug out 2 feet deep, dug it all out and put it over here as a sub so that they would only have to just put a dressing of material back over it. And I did that for them so that they wouldn't have the excuse of being able to maintain both driveways, because I needed to get this rectified because all that water was coming right here, and I still have a lot of it setting in, but that water would run right down this road. You see we're running at a pretty close decline. All that water from that 2,000 feet of national forest and the 80 acres ahead of us and everything else runs right down here, and it used to run straight down this road. Now I've got it trying to break it down into pieces to let the water get where it wants to go, which is just trenching it out. And you see, you don't get ravines if you fill in, or washouts if you fill in your ruts and you put gravel down. All this water's ran through here right over the road. I haven't graded this over in probably a week. A little bit of a rise here to keep the water from going down the hill on the old easement, which was flooding my entire backyard. There'd be 2 feet of standing water there and a foot in my basement. And we've got all this rain this past week is washing out. And again, good gravel, good road construction. And this little trench here has just been eaten out. And it comes right down here and it's depositing all this sand right down at the bottom. And that's actually kind of helping them a little bit. If they just rake this down and put some gravel on it, the water would be able to flow between the gravel and get where it needs to go without carrying all the sand with it. But I could fix that for them for 2 or 3 minutes, just a couple of passes with the back blade on that tractor right there. But again, as soon as I start that tractor, they're going to start sneaking up in the trees. And I mean, there's just no way to believe that they're not looking for some kind of situation where they have some kind of a excusable reason to escalate things. So following my attorney's advice, I'm staying away from them even when they're on my property. And my family's doing the same. We've been effectively held hostage here. Well, pretty much in one way or another since we moved in here.